Component 3 lessons. There are 11 topics that will be going online, each about 20 to 30 minutes. Where you see the owl, click on the speaker and the owl and the speakers will give you some help. Write your answers in the text box provided, but if that doesn't work or it goes a bit weird, just insert a text box. But if you don't have access to printers or PCs, you're just using your phone to view Show My Homework, don't worry, you're also included. Just use pen and paper, the old-fashioned way, but make sure you number each chapter, label each chapter and each question properly, otherwise you'll get a bit lost. Hope that's okay, and best of luck. Lesson 1. To complete, interpret and check the information on financial statements and documents. That's the learning intention. Basically, the first step we're going to do is go and understand turnover. We're going to understand the word, we're going to work out how to calculate turnover, and we're going to be able to consider what impacts on a business's turnover. So guess what the key vocabulary is? Turnover and seasonal revenue. Some jobs to point out to you are accountants, finance controllers and treasurers. Lesson 1, turnover. What is turnover? Turnover or net sales? Well, if you look on the knowledge organiser, you'll see the definition, which is the total revenue earned by the business in a given financial period. It is calculated by price times quantity sold. Question 2. For the total of the summer, Roy Circus has sold 3,000 tickets at £5 each. What is their seasonal turnover? Now remember, turnover is the total revenue earned by the business in a given financial period. We don't know how long they've been doing it for, they just say a season, but it doesn't matter because all we've got to look at is the price and the quantity sold. So you have those two numbers, write down the formula in the formula box, and then write down the keywords, which we've got are seasonal and turnover, and then let's work it out. It's 3,000 times 5. Turnover, also referred to as net sales, is the total revenue an enterprise receives in any given financial period. Turnover might come from a range of different products. Revenue, remember what we just said, it's turnover. Revenue is calculated as price times quantity sold. Right, this question says, what is the difference between turnover and revenue? Remember that you can get these sneaky questions in exams. So let's have a look at the two words again. Turnover is the total revenue an enterprise receives in a given financial period, and revenue is calculated from price times quantity sold. So if you've got the price of all your goods and you times it by how many you've sold, you make your revenue. Great, you've understood revenue. And if your turnover is how much you get as a company from everything you sell, doesn't it mean that they're actually the same things? For your final question, you now know what turnover is. This is about what impacts turnover. So think about what a business has control over. These are called internal impacts. And then think about what a business can't control. They are external impacts. Your job is to write out your response, giving one example of each of an internal and external impact on a business's turnover. So let's think about what you know from this lesson. You've been looking at the turnover formula. The formula is price times quantity sold. What could affect the price of a product? What could affect the quantity sold of the product? Let's deal with quantity sold first. So if we think about what's going on at the moment, is everyone selling the same amount of products that they have been before the lockdown? The answer is no. So that is something that they can't control because it's outside of the company's control, the number of things that they can sell. So there's an example for you. The price. Now they're in charge of the price because they go to their suppliers for their raw materials. If they need to reduce the price, might they have to change suppliers so they can reduce the cost of their supplies? That's one way of thinking of it.